Hello, everyone. I'm Dominique, and today we're going to be talking about the colonial press and how important it was and how it shaped the nation to what we have today. Well, as the book says, and how scholars are looking into it, mass communication started off in a very old back in the day, 500,000 years ago to 40,000 years ago, a time before we were even thought of, conceived, or even thought about. But let's get started with talking about the colonial press and how important it was during the time. Well, in order to really fully understand the colonial press, we must first understand why the press was there in the first place. As we all have, known that Europeans and Europeans had gathered into coming into America for whatever reason it was, to find new land, for trade, or for whatever it was. Europeans came to America. Now, the first instance of press or publicity was to bring more people into America, with starting with the Book of Charlesworth by Woolpit, was to bring people into Florida, and that can be found on page 19. I find that that book was the most fundamental because it was the first case in which public relations became a big thing. Well, excuse me if I'm messing up his name, but Wolpert was a man who wanted more funds to be coming into Florida because they were going through a very traumatic experience, such as they didn't have enough food, they couldn't survive, and they needed some more people to just start funding this state so that they could continue prospering. Now, as the book said, the book was a complete failure in bringing funds into Florida. But this book, technically speaking, wasn't a complete and utter failure because as Europeans got hold of this book, they also decided that they should come to America and live and settle in places close enough to Florida, which was an actually great good thing because when people are coming to America and not colonizing, settling into America, that means there's more people, there is more opportunities, and it also started more publicity for the country. And as a result, more people coming in means more money for Americans, and a lot of them started doing more promotional things to make sure that more Europeans, other countries, other nationalities have that freedom to come to America. But the press was also even more important because while that was all going on, when settlers are coming to America, they're realizing that they have a issue. And that issue is the Indians. They don't know these people. The natives already there don't know the settlers as well. And sometimes it became more of an issue because both of these people, both of these sets of religions and people are butting heads, which is not good. So then, as more people are coming to the Americas, they're thinking, well, you know what? Why don't we convert the Indians so that it'll be easier for us to communicate with them? And that's not really what their big plan was, but overall, that's became the biggest plan was converting the Indians, which can be found on page 21, where they started creating the Indian Bibles so that the Indians and the colonizers could finally, coexist and become one big group under the umbrella term of doing God's work. Now, as the press started to continue moving forward, it also became very important as it does today because of the newspaper. With the introduction of the newspaper, it began to start people began to start to get information from outside of England and into the United States. And that can be found in chapter 2 with the public occurrence of domestic and foreign policies, which I believe was by Benjamin Franklin. And the first start we can talk about is page 35, in which it was the first time America ever got the taste of news, at least in that sense of like not fake any more fake news, but more real news, authentic news about things that people want to talk about. And with this first running newspaper, people are getting their information from what they could perceive as reliable sources because Why would someone lie? It's in the newspaper. So I do believe that with people coming into the country with promotional information, promotional literature, that's the one start of how it shaped our nation. But then also the introduction of the newspaper, also circulating and making the newspaper what it is today. Without the colonizers and without the promotional information that everyone had received before the newspaper, it would not have made America what it is today. A place where newspapers are still very relevant and people still follow it. But also, it really does shape our nation. So I thank you for listening and I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.